today for what promises to be an insightful and engaging session. Whether you are dialing in from across the globe or just down the street, thank you for making the time to be here. Now get ready to explore fresh perspectives, practical strategies, and meaningful conversations that can truly elevate your work on a topic as trivial and old as infrastructure management. It's been around ages. Now, a quick introduction about myself. I'm Vishal Kaushik, Senior Principal Customer Architect for Chef APJ. I work closely with enterprise teams to design scalable, customer-centric solutions that drive real business impact. With a passion for bridging technology and strategy, I thrive on helping organizations unlock the full potential of their digital transformation journey. Now, enough said about me. Let's make this session insightful and, above all, valuable to you. So feel free to ask your questions in the chat and after the presentation, and I'll be happy to share my thoughts and connect with you further. Moving ahead, so what are the things that we are going to discuss today is what are the key business challenges when it comes to infrastructure management? What is Chef? For those who are not aware of Chef, have not heard of it, uh, and then what is the business value that Chef brings to you as a consumer or a user of such a product? Then we'll be talking about some customer stories on how customers across this region and the globe have used Chef for their own success. And we'll be talking about some key use cases on where Chef can actually be used and can shine when it comes to topics like continuous compliance with Chef, orchestrating or automating your infrastructure management jobs, and then how and where Chef is progressing. It's been a product in the market for almost 17 years, and where we are today and where we are progressing as a platform engineering approach for our product that we have taken. So moving ahead, what are the key business challenges in infrastructure management space today? So despite all the velocity gains obtained by teams in their adoption of DevOps and Agile and bringing in several tools into your organization by information security teams, the velocity still lacks. So all of this should actually improve or enhance your speed at which you deliver code, products, solutions to your consumers. But that's not really the case. And the demand to increase speed continue to exist. Now, breaches are still taking long to find, and exploitation occurs on known vulnerabilities. And the remediation also takes a lot of time to complete. Now, for instance, in the most recent Verizon data breach report, it shows that 56% of breaches took months or longer to be discovered. And since 2014, most exploits observed use 9 known vulnerabilities. Now, in a survey for Chef in 2017, we showed that it takes time to remediate the known vulnerabilities, sometimes from days to weeks or months. Uh, uh, and Chef can actually help you increase the velocity or decrease the time taken to remediate a lot of these security issues. The modern infrastructure challenge is that most companies find it really challenging to scale DevOps because, as we all know, that any organization, you have multiple functions, multiple business units, different stakeholders, and to scale DevOps across all of these is a really difficult and challenging task. These are some of the reports from Bain and Company, Boston Consulting Group, and all of them say that in today's world, it has been increasingly challenging and complex to to do infrastructure management because of uh, the complexity that is involved with infrastructure management. Now, why is it so hard? After all, DevOps and DevSecOps has been around for many years. Now, in a world um, where scale has increased exponentially with the digital transformation age, you have different types of nodes. You have different types of applications, architectures, operating systems, container, hardware devices, different environments, cloud. You have multi-cloud, mixed, hybrid cloud, private cloud, public clouds, and so on. Then you have architectures, agentless, agent-based, service-oriented, microservices, so on, right? And all of this has actually created kind of complexity that organizations must manage. And because of this, what has happened is that the value that the practitioners or organizations that follow such frameworks like DevOps and DevSecOps, Agile, and so on, uh, it's really hard for them to get the value out of it. Now, this holistic DevOps ecosystem is only as good as the value it brings, and we continue to bring all the best things about Chef into it. The orchestration capability of Chef brings enormous control over the targeting and timing dimensions uh, of actions leading to faster outcomes in terms of delivering changes, patching, incident response, and much, much more. The Chef 360 platform that we have introduced is an all-new UI UX, which will be another step in the direction of democratizing DevOps and making it easier for everyone to get started with Chef DevOps. The platform will encompass numerous DevOps capabilities that you have already seen and experienced in Chef. Now, this means fewer tools to manage and less time wasted in troubleshooting across tools and more time to focus on impactful work. Now, node management brings much more granular control over the nodes and onto your infrastructure fleet. Now, what is the security and compliance posture? What is the status of a job run? What actions have you performed on your infrastructure? Are just some of the things you will be able to do with Chef 360 and uh, node management. Finally, Chef is among the first few solutions to bring infrastructure as a code and compliance security as a code uh, with one policy as a code approach. Not only does this bring teams together to foster collaboration between security applications, system administrators, DevOps, SRE teams, but it also makes the overall processes faster, changes are more reliable, and the teams become more efficient. So if we had to sum it up, like what value Chef actually brings to the business, this is the most recent report from IDC, which says that 60% of organizations say that they are more efficient using Chef for infrastructure configuration management. 62% say that they have reduced configuration errors by using Chef. 16% say that now they feel they have more consistent infrastructure configuration in place. So these reports speak volumes about what value Chef brings when we specifically talk about infrastructure management, configuration management, compliance and security management, or scalable IT operations. So if we had to talk about anything in terms of monetary numbers, what value Chef gives to its end users by bringing in automation, configuration management, security and compliance management as a solution. So this slide, again, a recent report from IDC in June 2025, summarizes it quite well. So the chart presents a breakdown of the most significant benefit areas organizations have achieved with Chef. And as calculated with IDC's business value methodology, we can see that on average, organizations realize 22 million in annual benefits. These include 9.7 million from DevOps efficiency, 9.4 million from infrastructure team efficiency, and 3 million in infrastructure cost savings. So again, this is a breakdown and a very good indicator of that Chef not only is just a product, a technology in place, but rather it improves efficiency and brings value across people, processes, and technology unified to your infrastructure, right? If we have to talk about a few customer stories, I think from APJ, that is Asia Pacific and Japan region perspective, we have UIDAI, which is Unique Identification Authority of India. And this is the world's largest biometric ID system, which enables India's digital identity, government to consumer services, and digital public infrastructure at scale. Now, on an average, this platform processes around 70 million authentications per day, and it covers 99% of India's adult population. As you can imagine, the kind of performance and kind of scale that is needed for such a government public infrastructure. You can Chef powers this infrastructure, ensuring that uh, that configuration of the systems is running smoothly and effectively and efficiently across, so that citizens or users of this platform can have a seamless experience. Now, some of the key challenges in building such a complex and scalable infrastructure was that a lot of the environments within this infrastructure, they were siloed and isolated with each other. It could be network isolation, it could be security processes isolation, compliance and risk, and so on, right? Data isolation, and so on. So now, and and to manage all of these different environments, they were doing configuration management and compliance in a manual and unstructured way. So there was lack of any kind of structured automation for configuration management. And during regular audits, they were facing a lot of security gaps identified by the auditors. Now, they had difficulty scaling this environment and this whole setup because they wanted to move towards a solution which is highly available to cater to the needs of the users who expect the system to be live and running all the time. And there were time-bound milestones that this government project had to achieve. And there were several delays due to vulnerability identified and in the products that they or in the applications that were running in this infrastructure. And the operating systems being used and so on. And to remediate those vulnerabilities was again a manual process. So all of these challenges actually were quite difficult to manage. And the solution that Progress Chef brought in was that we provided a way to automate configuration management across this hybrid, siloed, isolated environments to bring configuration management in an automated and unified way, which is scalable. Now, using Chef Inspect, they were able to enforce CIS benchmarks on their operating systems, on the applications, databases, and using CIS policy automation, they could enforce security policies that were aligned with the organization's requirements. They were able to effectively and efficiently do patch management of their systems, and they were able to, most importantly, remediate the vulnerabilities that were identified in a very fast and efficient way using the workflows that Chef offers with its power of automation. And they were able to deploy applications in an end-to-end manner, so their velocity increased a lot for deploying, managing, and running applications in a secure, scalable, and reliable way. So what were the outcomes of all of this? From manual, they went to autonomous, fully automated configuration, compliance, patching, which replaced error-prone manual efforts. Now, security was reinvented. They achieved 70% risk reduction and 100% audit readiness when it comes to continuous compliance. They were able to cut down on their release cycles by half. So from 4 weeks to 2 weeks, with automated CI/CD pipelines, which greatly increased their velocity at which they were able to ship the applications and code and everything. And they were able to scale with confidence using Chef high availability. They were able to scale beyond several thousands of servers to provide seamless operations, boosting the infrastructure management efficiency by almost 60%. And of course, because Chef offers a highly available platform, they were able to reduce downtimes in their environment, and any kind of operational overhead, which unlocked higher system uptime and cost efficiency to them. Now, another example is that we have a leading Asian bank which offers personal and corporate banking, investment services, and treasury operations in BFSI domain. It's headquartered in Singapore and spreads across 19 countries and territories. So this bank had probably some of the same challenges that many of the banks in this domain currently face. Now, they had inconsistent compliance posture, so it was very difficult to maintain CIS benchmark alignment across their dynamic infrastructure landscape. There was no visibility into what changes were happening in configuration, in compliance and security posture, and absence of any real-time compliance monitoring in place, right? Limited their ability to detect and address any drift proactively. Now, they had risky and manual rollbacks. So most of these changes were being done manually by hand, which created a risk of doing something wrongly and causing system downtimes and so on. Now, the rollback processes were really fragile because they often rely on manual intervention, and they increased the recovery time that was needed to recover the systems or roll back the systems when they needed to. So there were clear gaps in automation. There was no unified configuration management in place, and they had fragmented standards across their teams. So security team, application team, DevOps team, they all were doing their own thing. So there were no standardization, and this led to fragmentation of the efforts that they were putting in to manage their infrastructure. And they were using a variety of tools in place, which caused inconsistent practices, causing environmental drift and audit pain points for them. Now, the solution that Chef brought in was that we provided them with a automated OS hardening mechanism using Chef. So with this, they could enforce secure configurations at scale with automated OS configuration management. Their compliance was made easy and continuous using Chef Inspect by enabling them to use CIS-based benchmarks for enforcement and continuous validation. This allowed them to be audit ready at all times, and it was a breeze to pass through the auditors following the years that they have started to use Chef. With Chef, they were able to implement a policy-driven security policy automation. So the application team, security team, DevOps team, they could all come together, understand the same construct and language of infrastructure management when it comes to security automation, and they could apply these policies using a single product or tool. Now, with Chef, they also got was resilience built in, and also the lifecycle management of their entire fleet of servers, which included several operating systems, databases, applications, and so on. It was all streamlined through automation, thereby reducing the downtime and the manual effort that they needed to manage such a diverse and complex infrastructure. So finally, the outcomes of using Chef was that the infrastructure became secure, scalable, and standardized. Now, they achieved 100% CIS compliance across the board for all of their environments, strengthening their audit posture and trust among their consumers and users. Because they were always audit ready, using automated continuous compliance, they slashed the verification time needed for audits by almost 80%, which in today's world and for a bank is really, really important. They unlocked efficiency by removing any sort of operational overhead by cutting it down to 50% and freeing up resources for other strategic initiatives. So they could utilize people to do far better and more important projects than to just keep doing things in a manual, non-scalable way, which is not really efficient in their infrastructure management space. Now, they also got, besides resilience, they got speed to do things really fast, so they could roll back the systems really fast if things didn't go well at any point in time, because now rollbacks also were automated, and they were not relying on manual intervention and processes for doing rollbacks. Overall, this created a infrastructure harmony, standardizing environments across teams, reducing their configuration drift by almost 90%. And yeah, we have such examples of several customers in different verticals and domains. We have Danske Bank, who has used Chef in a way to reduce their deployment times and to do work that was needed to be repeated multiple times a day. So they brought in automation, they scaled their infrastructure management, and improved the efficiency of their staff by allowing them to work on other important projects. Similarly, we have a leading fast casual bakery chain, which used Chef to not only automate its server and VM provisioning updates, but also using Chef to remediate any kind of security incidents at a much faster pace. When you bring in automation in your security remediation, it gives you the power to actually go in and fix things at a very fast pace, no matter what is the scale of your environment or the complexity of your environment. And these are just some of our other customers' success stories. So you have Bank Hapolim, Tech, iManage, Optum, Carfax, and so on. And the list goes on. We have a very huge, extensive list of customers across any industry vertical, you name it, using Chef to manage their infrastructure, configuration, and compliance, security, posture, automation at scale. Now you might ask, like, okay, we have several other tools and products in the market which can offer to some degree some kind of automation, for be it for deployment or for configuration management or for security and compliance posture. So how is Chef actually different? Now, the key differentiators on how Chef is different is that Chef brought in something called as policy as a code, because it merges your infrastructure, application delivery, security, and compliance, everything into a single framework. So all of these combined together becomes your policy, and it democratizes it in a way that security teams can write policies that are relevant and applicable to security teams. Application team can write policies that are relevant to application teams for deployment of their application, managing their application, and so on. And the DevOps or sysadmin teams, they can write their own policy, which is relevant to day-to-day operation tasks or the DevOps processes and technologies in place. Right? And then you can seamlessly combine and merge all of this into a single policy to take into effect on your infrastructure application overall. And another key differentiator is that Chef is able to work on any kind of infrastructure. It can be a physical, a virtual, on-premise, cloud, hybrid, any kind of operating systems, Windows, Linux, any kind of cloud, public cloud, private clouds. So Chef works everywhere. And one of the third key differentiator is that while most products or tools provide configuration management and compliance as a point-in-time solution, Chef has a different approach to it. Chef actually has the resources defined and built into its system, which makes your infrastructure configurations idempotent. And it works on the principle of zero trust security, and also with this idempotency, it makes your infrastructure immutable to outside world. So anyone making changes outside of Chef can actually not change the configurations managed by Chef, or because Chef is able to detect those changes done outside of Chef, and it enforces and reverts back those changes on your infrastructure. And in that way, your infrastructure becomes immutable, and any changes that need to happen need to go through your well-defined DevOps pipelines and processes in place. And having this immutable infrastructure in place gives you a extreme added advantage when it comes to maintaining your security and compliance posture for your audits. So key differentiators, single integrated as a code approach, shift left security and compliance. So it's a DevSecOps, it's built on DevSecOps and zero trust principles. So the product has security and compliance focused in the center and not a afterthought. And we support end-to-end hybrid and multi-cloud. We provide out-of-the-box content. So we have a community of several thousands of out-of-the-box content provided by our community, and also Chef, to its licensed users, provides out-of-the-box content for CIS, compliance, and remediation. So that means with it, you can basically ensure compliance of any kind of operating system, databases, applications, both from an audit standpoint, and also you can go ahead and remediate the issues that are identified in the audit in an automated way by just using the out-of-the-box content for remediation that Chef offers. Now, moving on, what is this? We have talked about what Chef is, what value it brings to our customers. We have talked about a few customer stories and how Chef has helped them to achieve what they wanted to achieve. Now, moving forward, Chef, as I mentioned, has been a product in the market for almost 17 years now. And moving forward, we are actually working in the past 2 years or so to revolutionize and improve Chef for the next-gen world. And the approach that we took was to follow a platform engineering kind of approach and more of a ClickOps kind of approach. So that it gives our end users who are not very familiar or comfortable doing things in a pure technical way, it allows to lower the entry barrier to say to DevSecOps in general, and also to using automation for configuration management and compliance as well. So with this one platform, it could be either self-managed or it could be a SaaS offering from us. End users are able to do any kind of configuration management, orchestration of their jobs, and jobs could be defined in workflows of one or more steps that needed to be done to complete a job. The node management piece takes care of managing the nodes that are enrolled to this new platform. It's kind of a asset inventory to say. And of course, this platform works on any device or any cloud that is available currently in the market. So how Chef helps in compliance management? So we have heard a lot about all the different things that we have done for our customers. And some of the key things that I want to talk today is, or key use cases I want to talk about, one of them is compliance management, right? So Chef enables IT teams to perform system hardening through continuous security audits and remediation by leveraging ready-to-use, certified, curated audit and remediation content. So step one, you acquire this content from Chef, or you write your own or customize the one that Chef has offered to you. Then you define and customize your cookbooks as per your requirements. Then you run a compliance posture evaluation. That is the monitoring part. And once you get a compliance posture scan, you can choose to auto remediate the gaps that are identified by this compliance scan. And finally, it gives you a single pane of glass for your entire infrastructure in the form of reporting to you as which systems, which controls are passing and failing across your infrastructure, and what you need to do to remediate those, and which have been remediated using Chef already, and what more needs to be done, and so on. So this is how Chef actually helps you do a complete end-to-end compliance management, right from acquiring the content to define, then to monitor, then remediate, and finally report it. So this helps DevOps teams pass audits quickly with close to no manual effort required. Now, Chef helps organizations to simplify and maintain compliance adherence with its automated policy enforcement and real-time visibility and on-demand evidence collection. So that means you can on-demand generate and download reports regarding your compliance status or posture. You get a real-time visibility or a near real-time visibility depending on how often you're running your compliance scan. It could be as much as every 30 minutes, every 1 hour, once a day, or so on. Right? Now, with Chef, you are able to securely apply consistent configurations across any IT environment. It could be your on-premises, it could be a cloud, it could be a hybrid, and so on. Now, with Chef, this enforces standards and policies with continuous configuration checks. We can detect and remediate the drips automatically. We maintain consistent, secure systems states at scale, and you gain real-time consolidated visibility into your infrastructure posture in the form of reports. And then we want to talk about how orchestrated compliance helps or makes it really easy to do compliance. So with Chef, as I mentioned earlier, there are only 3 jobs or 3 steps that you need to do. One is to scan your infrastructure, then perform any kind of action on your desired nodes. It could be nodes which are failing your compliance, and the action could be that you want to remediate all of those nodes that are failing compliance automatically without any manual intervention, or it could be that you want to give some kind of waiver to some of the nodes and some of the controls because you have the need to give exception to them. And once you have performed all those actions on selected nodes, you can again run the scan, so revalidate and get a report out telling you if your infrastructure is adhering to the compliance policies and uh, and it is in a state where it can pass audit. Right? And this is why we say at any point in time, Chef allows you or helps you to maintain your infrastructure in a audit-ready state. Now, some real-world examples of compliance and remediation use case could be that you want to restrict unauthorized admin access. So you scan for user accounts which have sudo or admin access to your systems, and then check if the user is on the admin approved list, and remove any user who is not matching the list of admin users from the sudo privileges or administrator privileges, and automatically log this action and update the compliance dashboard. Similarly, if you have requirement to disable SSH port access on your entire fleet, what you can do is you can scan the target nodes to find out which machines have the port 22 open. And depending on the output, you can decide that you can close port 22 if it is not required or not expected on a desired machine, and then automatically update your compliance logs and notify the security team that that you have remediated this risk of nodes which were not supposed to have SSH ports open automatically by using Chef in a matter of few minutes. Right? So orchestrate jobs across hybrid environments for efficiency is another use case that I want to actually talk about. So we have talked a lot about configuration management, how compliance and security automation and remediation can be done by Chef. But let's touch upon a bit about how Chef helps you orchestrate jobs in a hybrid environment, which is the reality of today's infrastructure. So you have a lot of complex hybrid and infrastructure in place, and with complexity and this hybrid approach, it's also oftentimes costlier. The challenges in hybrid IT is that you use multiple tools. You do manual orchestration or automation, configuration, compliance, everything is done manually. And then because of this, you have slower deployments, you have higher downtimes, and you risk rising costs. Overall, to an organization or to a IT manager or a CISO or CIO, CTO, the effect of all of this is it leads to inefficiency of not just the technology part, but inefficiency for everything, people, processes, and technology. You have a lot of operational overhead and risk, and you have additional budget strain on top to manage all of these fragmented tools and inefficiencies in processes and people in place. Now, using Chef Smart Orchestration, what are the key capabilities that Chef offers to its end users is that it has a multi-interpreter support. So with a single product, you can do configuration management, you can do compliance management, you can do deployment, or effectively managing your applications or any kind of job. Let's say you have written custom scripts or something else to do manage your application, deploy your application, and so on. So yeah, it doesn't matter. Chef as a single platform gives you the ability to do pretty much anything and everything when it comes to your infrastructure management. You have well-defined centralized workflows. So you have to define your workflows once based on your standard operating procedures or your organization processes in place, and then run them anywhere. It could be on-premise, on cloud, and so on. You, and Chef also helps with event-driven execution. So you can trigger jobs via alerts from some external tools like monitoring solutions, or you could trigger your jobs as schedules. So let's say a job as simple as taking backups of your systems every weekend during off-business hours, right? Can be done. So what is the business value that you get using a single platform is that you have faster and unified operations. Your operational overhead, your costs and efficiency is improved. You have reduced risk because you are able to do things at a faster pace. You reduce the risk of doing something wrongly, or you reduce the risk of downtime of your systems, or leaving some security-related vulnerability open for many days, and so on. And in the end, it also overall helps you optimize your costs. Your costs come down because you are improving on your efficiency, you're improving on your velocity, and you're reducing your risk and downtimes. So overall, this has a direct impact on your cost optimizations as well. Jump into a demo showcasing how Chef 360 helps you manage your hybrid environments effectively. So here, this is the platform window. Here we log in, and you're able to see. So after the login, you can see we are trying to first show you that there is no MySQL installed on a Linux machine and a Windows machine. And what we are going to try to show you is that how to install a database server MySQL onto your Windows and Linux environment, showcasing the capability of Chef Courier. So you choose a job template out of the box provided in the platform and call it, give it any name, that I want to install MySQL database on multiple operating systems using one job out of the box template. All you need to do is select the template, select the nodes where you want to install this, and then just run the job. And the system takes care of deploying your database application onto your Linux systems and onto your Windows systems with just one click. And you can see the job is submitted. And if we do a refresh now, what happens is that you're able to see the job is not yet picked, and now it says it's a success. So the database job has run, and you can see it has run on both Windows and Linux machines. So if we now verify, you can see there is a MySQL installed on Windows, and there is also a MySQL installed on your Linux machine. So this is the power of Chef 360 platform on how you can efficiently manage or orchestrate your jobs across a wide variety of hybrid environments. And it can be on-prem, in the cloud, pretty much anywhere. Yeah. So moving on, let's go ahead with the next slide. The next use case we want to showcase is how to detect and remediate zero-day threats. So maybe you're part of security operations team or just your DevOps or regular operations sysadmin team, and security team has notified of a zero-day threat, and that needs to be remediated to ensure that your organization is in a secure and compliant state. So how does what are the risks that zero-day threats pose to an organization? So the biggest threat is that because these are zero-day threats, they are emerging at a really fast pace, and nobody knows about them before they get identified or detected. And these are some really dangerous vulnerabilities that are actively exploited by hackers and malicious intent users. So with this, the risk that the organization carries is of data breaches, having outages, and losing several $100,000s or millions of dollars every minute that risk is exposed and goes without patching. And the real pain points that organizations face under such a scenario is that there is no real-time visibility into identifying that across their hybrid infrastructure fleet, which systems are actually exploitable, and the response is, if it is manual, then it takes a long period of time to really remediate these kind of threats manually, and it creates a high risk, high impact situation for the organization. Using Chef 360, what you can actually do and utilize the power of automation is that you can detect these machines or across your infrastructure fleet quickly. Then you can respond to these threats in a well-defined and tested manner, and you can automate the whole process for end-to-end remediation of these zero-day threats across your environment. And the outcome that you get out of this is that you get a rapid threat mitigation. You're quickly able to mitigate these risks rather than relying on days or weeks of manual work. It's a matter of minutes to do it in a large infrastructure fleet of hundreds to thousands of servers. And you ensure that your compliance posture is maintained, and your risk and impact is kept to a bare minimum, and there are no manual delays due to avoidance of all the manual work. And then because you can automate the entire workflow of protecting, of remediating your infrastructure fleet from such threats end to end. Let's quickly see a demo of that. So again, we log into our Chef 360 platform, and this is the login page that you get once you log in. We go into so right now you can see that there is a system status is clean. Now let's, for the demo purpose, inject a malware. So once we inject a malware and run a clam AV scan, the scanning would show that the system status now is infected. And imagine, for demo purposes, let's assume that this is a zero-day threat, a malware that has just popped up in your infrastructure, and your job is now to quickly remediate it. So we have a job written here. The job is basically using the same workflow that is detect, respond, and automate. So you detect which machines are affected, and then once you have automated the detect part, then you collect all your forensics, like and then you take a action that you want to quarantine those threats. Do you want to remediate it? If there's a patch available, apply patch to the system, and then verify after patching or remediation that your systems are now clean and the threat is averted. So once this job is submitted, you can see in a while that this starts to run, and then you would see a success status telling us that the job was run across the infrastructure fleet. So it says running now. Let's give it a few seconds, and it says success now. So let's go in. So you can see the job shows that the job was successful. It ran on a couple of machines, and if we again run a antivirus scan now, you would see the system status comes up as clean, because not only with Chef you identified the systems that were affected by this threat, but you also remediated all of this in a matter of seconds. Right? So that is the power of automation, and the benefit that the organization gets when using such kind of a automation platform. Now, the third important use case that I want to highlight is reduce downtime and operational costs through automation. And for every infrastructure manager, your CTOs, CISOs, the primary goal is to ensure that you keep your systems running and you reduce your operational costs as much as possible. Yeah. So why automation really matters in infrastructure management is that due to manual efforts or due to sheer size and scale and complexity of your infrastructure, there is a huge risk of running into unplanned downtimes. Maybe someone did something wrong, or maybe it is the system was not optimized. It could be performance issues of the system. It could be a number of factors, right? So manual operations are always costly. And then the complexity of your infrastructure adds to the inefficiency of doing things manually. Now, how automation solves this is because using Chef 360, as we mentioned, we are one of the pioneers of policy as a code concept. We are able to bring together security teams, application teams, DevOps, SysOps, all kind of teams who have their own guidelines and processes, and really codify them into a single unified policy for your organization or business unit. And then because of a unified way of communicating all these processes and needs across these teams, this fosters collaboration between them, and they're able to do things in a much faster and consistent way. Because you codify, there is little chance to cause manual errors or to cause delays due to all the manual efforts. Then also automation helps you to proactively manage health and compliance checks. If automation is running on a regular basis in your infrastructure fleet, it helps you to really monitor your environment in a proactive way, ensure that your security and compliance posture, your DevOps, your application security teams, they are running their infrastructure in a desired state manner. And this allows your teams to be more productive, because then they can focus their job on doing important projects rather than just keep on firefighting the day-to-day infrastructure challenges. And the outcome of all of this is that you automatically lower the cost. We have seen an earlier report from IDC, which claims that organizations who have incorporated DevSecOps principles or framework into their way of working using automation platforms such as Chef, they have on an average got a saving of roughly around 22 million for a year, right, or so. And these reports speak volumes about how even though the initial investment in terms of learning, in terms of implementing these processes and frameworks might seem daunting, but in the near and the short term and the long run, these are really beneficial to lower your costs down. You also reduce downtime of your systems. So you ensure that your systems are always running in a consistent desired state, thereby removing the human error part. And your operations overall become really stable and reliable. And your operations team can then focus on more on innovation and important project tasks for your organization, rather than just keep on firefighting day-to-day operational jobs. Now with Chef 360, you can actually use the complete power of automation from a single platform. Or the key capabilities that our platform provides you is that you can do both configuration and security and compliance management at scale across hybrid fleet of environment, across on premises, on cloud, any kind of platform or environment, and you can you can ensure that your systems are always running in a desired configured state from day 0 when they're provisioned to day n until they are decommissioned. And you can also ensure that your security and compliance posture is always audit ready, and it really helps you to pass audits and ensure that your systems are always compliant as per the requirements. So the real customer value is that one platform for configuration, compliance, and remediation. So you don't need to have different tools for managing configuration of your infrastructure and security and compliance of your infrastructure, and then remediation of your infrastructure. With just one platform, it gives you a unified approach to seamlessly manage your infrastructure in an end-to-end manner. you are able to do faster recovery with automated workflows. Your rollbacks become faster. You're able to respond to your incidents in a much faster way, and all of this leads to predominantly running much more efficient systems and processes when it comes to infrastructure management. And scalable and self-healing infrastructure. So if you have automated many of your recurring incidents, let's say you get a log file system which always gets full by end of the week, or you have some service which keeps on shutting down every now and then, and you have written automation jobs for it to either clean up the log file system or restart that service, then it automatically helps you to maintain higher uptimes. And because of all the automation in place, there is cost optimization due to the efficiency kicking into the picture. Now let's watch a quick demo of how we are able to do everything that we have talked about around automation. And we log into the platform. Once again, we show you that this is a demo application which is currently running. So you can see this is a monitoring dashboard which shows the Nginx, the web server, is running currently, and we're assuming that this is your web application that you want to monitor and manage. So now you can see there is a monitoring has caught an event which says the system is down. And now what you would do is that based on this event, it would trigger a automatic job creation or job triggering into your Chef 360 environment. And you can see that this job first gathers diagnostics information, then there is automated healing. It restarts the Nginx server, and it also does a post-validation check. Once the Nginx service is up, it actually verifies that the Nginx service has come up properly to give you a status of that your web service went down, but a automated job picked that up using a automation job, and then it went ahead and fixed that that service that was failing, and it became up again. So as you can see, the Nginx service is up. The system is auto-remediated, self-healed. So your incident management really becomes a piece of cake, and you bring in all those advantages of efficiency, optimizations, no human errors, reducing your downtimes, and so on. So besides all of this, we also can do a lot of other things that we can do with this Chef 360 platform. So in the interest of time, I won't be able to show you all the use cases, but consider that the use cases could be endless. And I want to just highlight a few more. One of them is a certificate lifecycle management. So in infrastructure management, where you're running a complex hybrid infrastructure, this is a big problem that managing certificates is a real challenge. You have expired or misconfigured SSL certificates in your environment. So it leads to broken API calls, loss of revenue if you're serving these externally to your consumers. And then to fix these certificate issues, if it is a manual process, this leads to a lot of delays due to manual efforts involved in identifying those misconfigured or expired certificates, and then remediating those certificates by either renewal or removing them, and so on. And these carry a high security risk to your infrastructure as well. Now, using Chef-powered solution, you can bridge the gap between your alerts and actions. So we have a solution that works in tandem with Chef, and you're able to actually do an entire lifecycle management for your certificates using this solution. So you can auto discover in your infrastructure which certificates are expiring. You can create and deploy rotation jobs. So you can say that auto rotate these certificates in 365 days or next 6 months, and so on. You can schedule the rollouts of your certificates to avoid any downtime. So you can say that apply this new certificate during off business hours of a weekend or so, or a maintenance window. And then you can also verify using automated scans and reports that your infrastructure is running in a compliant way, where it doesn't have any certificates that are expired or broken. And this is just a high-level view of that solution. As you can see on the left-hand side, you can create, you can deploy, you can renew, revoke, remediate, your certificates, and then you have these kind of dashboards available to you, which show you which systems are running your certificates in your environment, and how many of those are expiring in, let's say, less than 30 days, how many are expiring in next 30 to 90 days, and how many greater than 90 days. So all these kind of reporting is possible using this solution as well. So besides managing the entire life cycle of your certificates, you actually get very advanced and useful reports of certificates in your infrastructure. Now with Progress Certificate Lifecycle Management Solution, what you can do is you can reduce your downtimes. You can rotate more than 10,000 plus certificates in a minute. So and it really helps your engineering teams or operations team to free up a lot of their time that would go into identifying, managing, deploying, remediating, renewing such certificates if it were to be done manually. You also ensure that your systems are in full compliance and you have a complete audit trail and a certificate inventory available in your hand all the time. And then there is using the power of automation and DevSecOps, you also ensure that all your certificate management is being done in a version controlled workflow ways. So it's always reliable and repeatable and secure. So the end outcome of all of this is that for your certificate lifecycle management, you can do this using Progress Solution in a complete, automated, scalable, and secure way. So just to reiterate what we have been discussing over the past 45 minutes is that you can run any task on any kind of node in your infrastructure. Doesn't matter if it's a Windows or Linux, so on, and you can run those jobs at any time. It can be scheduled, it can be ad hoc, on demand, and repeatable, and so on. So with Chef, these are just some of the other use cases that you can actually use in your infrastructure management automation journey. So you can orchestrate your incident response, just as we saw. You can streamline your patching. You can also perform certificate rotations and so on. And yeah, this is again an example of how the whole platform looks like, what you can do with it. We will share these demo links after the session as well for you to watch and understand them at your own leisure. And you can always come back to us with any questions that you might have around it. So in the end, why Progress Chef? Basically, one solution for your configuration management needs, security and compliance audit needs, to manage a desired state configuration of your system. You can do easy rollbacks and version control, reduce downtime, run end-to-end automation across any kind of environment. It can be on-prem, on the cloud, it could be any operating system, Windows, Linux, anything. So just one platform which does it all for you. And that is why you should really choose Progress Chef for your infrastructure management needs. So the 3 key takeaways that I want every one of us to take away is that with Progress Chef, you can actually automate your infrastructure compliance and security needs. You can do remediation and run any kind of task, basically, across a hybrid environment using just a single platform. And this is a more comprehensive view of how Chef looks at DevOps ecosystem. And as you can see, we have a very holistic approach that we try to take with infrastructure management or automation as a solution, right? So it doesn't just stop at either managing configuration or managing deployment or managing incidents or security and compliance or patching, delivery of applications, and so on. So we try to take a very holistic approach where we say that with this one platform in a unified manner, you can actually manage your infrastructure in a end-to-end holistic way. Finally, this is a insight into how Progress Infrastructure Platform is going to look in the future. On the left-hand side, this piece of the pie you can see is called Chef 360. You have already seen this in today's session, and we have a couple of other products in infrastructure domain Kemp Load Master, which is the enterprise-grade load balancer. We have WhatsApp Gold, which is infrastructure and network monitoring solution. And we have Flowmon, which is a NDR, network detect and response, and NPMD solution for network performance monitoring as well. So with all of our products, we are taking a unified platform engineering approach, and we are trying to build a platform where you can actually do infrastructure management in a unified, holistic way, in a future-proof way. So that's all for today's session, and I thanks everyone for joining us. And hopefully this session was insightful, and you can take back some valuable information. Please do reach out to us if you have any questions, and we'll be happy to answer those. Thank you.